And there we go. Hello, everyone. This is your guy Sam Hutchins with the It's a Wrap with Reggie Sam podcast, flying solo today, coming to you live from the Black Excellence Conference here in Winder, Georgia, at the Wembley Center. This will be part two of my podcast today. I thank Miss Debbie coming on, talking about having a fentanyl conversation. If you didn't get it earlier, again, it will be uploaded to my YouTube channel. You will also be able to see it on Spotify and iTunes too as well. The audio portion of it anyway, but the video and the audio, of course, on the YouTube channel. With me, I have now is a very important person in the community who's doing a tremendous job and continues to work tirelessly and from her heart, which is why she's able to do what she does. And I'm going to let her introduce herself. Could you go ahead and introduce yourself to my audience, please, ma'am?
Yes. Good afternoon. My name is Hattie Muckle. I'm the Voter Empowerment Coordinator with Economic Justice Coalition. We are the daughter company of People's Agenda, and voter registration is very important to us, and we would like to keep the people abreast of what's going on in the voting arena, and it's really important that we get out into our communities and do our due diligence.
Well, thank you so much for that introduction, Ms. Muckle. And again, I thank you so much for being part of this. This is kind of sort of like whet the appetite, because we're definitely going to have you on exclusively to talk about the voter registration, this upcoming election, and the important dates that people need to do, and give them the information that they really don't have. One of the things I want to know, if you don't vote in the general election, can you vote in the primary? That's why I keep getting asked. Is that possible?
Yes.
Explain.
Yes. If you don't vote in the general election, you can vote in the primary. I have before me an election calendar, and it's the 2024 election calendar. And on the 2024 election calendar, we had some deadlines that was in February 2024. We had the presidential preference primary, which was special election, and that was from the county municipal, which was February 12th, 2024, and the election date was March 12th, 2024. And then we also had the special election runoff as well, and the election date for that was April the 9th, 2024. And now we have the general primary nonpartisan election, which is April 22nd, 2024, and the election date for that is May 21st, 2024. Also, the general election primary nonpartisan runoff is the same, April 22nd, 2024, and the election date for that is June 18th, 2024. Now, the general primary nonpartisan runoff for the federal offices would be May 20th, 2024. And the election date for that is June 18th, 2024. Now, we know that the general election is coming up October 7th, 2024. And I think that's when we start our early voter registration.
Yes.
October the 7th, 2024. And then the election date would be in the November 5th election, which is 2024. And then, of course, if there are any runoffs after that, then you have the October 7th, 2024, and then the election date was December the 3rd, 2024. And so that's in case if we have any runoff. But these are the important election dates for 2024 election calendar. And this is published by our organization, the People's Agenda, as well as the Economic Justice Coalition. And also in the community, we realize that there are people that don't have transportation to get to the polls, and we make sure that we put it at the end of our vouchers, that if you need a ride to the poll, also we have those you can get someone to carry you to the poll, and you can call the number 1-877-524-8683. Again, that number is 1-877-524-8683. Or you can go to the web and that would be www.ridetothepoll without any spaces.com.
Okay, so that was a lot of information, but a lot of great information, and that's why I say you need to watch this podcast in case you couldn't get a chance to write any of that down. Just go back and look at the podcast and see what this again. Now, one of the questions that I wanted to ask was that people who aren't registered to vote, what's the latest that they could register to vote so they would be eligible to vote in the upcoming election in November?
Yes, the latest date that you will be able to register to vote so that you can come in the upcoming would be the May 20th.
May 20th.
Uh-huh.
So you want to, if you're not registered to vote, you need to go to events like what they're having here. They're having voter registration at this thing, which I think anybody that has an event should have voter registration because given that opportunity, because the power, your vote is your voice. And that's what I try to get people to understand. Because if you don't vote, your voice, you talking to somebody on the corner about something that's not getting done, it's not being heard. So if it's not being heard, certainly not anything's not going to be done. And that's why I say advocates like yourself, and I want us to learn how to get more involved. Do you have some literature or something? Because I go to various events. I've got about 6 of them coming up, and I'd love to just hand it out to get that information out to them if you could get some of it to me.
Yes, we do have literature. I have the 2024 election calendar before me that I was just reading from.
Can you hold that up? Let them see it. Just let them see it.
These are the 2024 voter election calendars, and you can get these from our organization. All our information is free. Also, we have, I'm sorry that I didn't bring in from the outside.
That's okay.
I didn't know that I would need to. But also we have the information from Economic Justice Coalition telling you all the services that we offer in our community as well. And from our organization, we have about 3 or 4 entities, and we have the Worker Center organization as well. And that's for people who feel that they have been disadvantaged on their jobs, people who haven't been paid right and haven't gotten the pay that they deserve, and people who maybe have gotten hurt on the job, especially like in the poultry industry. There's a lot of people who are just not able to get the proper health care that they need. So we have the Worker Center. You can go to our Worker Center organization out of our entity, out of our organization, and we have lawyers that are a part of the Worker Center as well, and they will call someone, a representative, a case manager, to come in and to see what our organization can do for you. Also, we have Above and Beyond. Above and Beyond is one of the entities in our organization. If people say they have a surgery and they're out of work maybe 3 or 4 weeks, and they need someone to come in and help with maybe changing of bandages or helping with just daily chores that they have in their house because they are not able, or to help with the medical care. We have a licensed CNAs.
Wow. And
they have a caseworker on staff as well. There's a nurse, and they can come out. This is short term now. It's not long term.
You got to make sure that people understand.
Yes.
Because some people, like you said, they'll be wanting it long term.
Yes. This is short term. They'll come out to your house and offer those services. And also we have the voter registration. Yep. I mean, we kind of consider this just the crux of our organization because we can go back so many years, and it's such a privilege that we are able to even vote now. And this is very important. With all the turn of things that's happening in our communities now, and of course legally in our organization, we have to take a non-partisan stance. But however, we still have our personal preferences. But within our organization, we take that nonpartisan stance because it's the legalities of it. You don't want to do anything to put your 501c3 in jeopardy. That's right, in jeopardy. And so you have to abide by the rules. And it's good that we abide by the rules because it keeps us efficient in our communities. It keeps us in a position where we can give our community the information that they need, where we can bring a younger generation up and train them to do these jobs as well, because we just don't need the baby boomers. We need the millennials. We need the
Gen X.
Gen X. Yes,
Yeah.
yes. We need all of these generations to come up. My grandkids go out. Most of them are in college. My grandkids go out and help me as a volunteer with voter registration. I met a young man today out on the grounds here. It was such a blessing to hear this young man. And he was about to go to the county and volunteer to work in a voting position. And when he came by our table and met our organization and what we were doing, he said that was the exact thing that he was looking for.
Wow.
And I told him that our organization, and I don't mind giving this a price out because this is what we pay anyway. But our organization started the canvassers coordinator with $20 an hour. This young man was so adamant and had such a hunger about what he was doing. He's already a professional. He said that I just want to volunteer. I don't even want the money because this is a much needed thing for our community.
And people with that insight and people with that perspective are needed, because that's how important that this thing is. And that's the one thing that when we had the thing here, when Tammy had it, we were talking, had the conversation, when they had you to come up, and there was the generations in there. And the young man and I was asking him the disconnect that happened when Obama was really running for president, the 2 terms. The young people really, really turned out. And then he said, about rock the vote, this and that. And they said, and I said, well, what changed? And one of the things that he said was, well, we don't know what we're voting for.
Exactly.
And I went back and I looked at it, I thought about it. What I should have asked him, Ms. Mucker, was, what do you want?
Exactly. You are so right, Mr. Hutchins.
That's what I should have asked him. When I went back and looked at the tape, because I videotaped it, put it up on my YouTube channel, like, share, and subscribe. Yes, I'm a shameless plug. Anyway, that thing's up. I've got like 3,000 subscribers. That thing got almost 2,000 views.
Wow.
That information that was on it. So 2,000 people watched that.
Wow.
Besides what was in it. So no matter how small that crowd was, that information was important. And I went back and looked at it, and it hit me as soon as I'm looking at it, in the replay. And he said, well, we don't know what we're voting for. And I said to myself, I should have asked you, what do you want?
Exactly. Mr. Hutchins, that's so important, because with our organization, here's a point that our director really stresses. What do you want? When you asked that, the first thing I thought about was social justice.
See? And that's what you want your representative to stand for, because that's what he's supposed to do. That's what representative is. Yes. He's supposed to be the face of whatever community that elected him.
Yes.
The needs and the wants of that community should be reflected in the way he votes and the way when he does that. And so if he's not getting any feedback from the people that he's quote unquote representing, then he's gonna look at a voter roll, see who's voting for him, see what areas vote for him. And those people and constituents in that area are going to get the crux of his attention on whatever it is that he's doing. And that's why you'll see, for example, even here in Winder, on one side of town, look at what you see.
Yes.
And just across the street, I'm talking about less than 50 yards.
Yes.
It's like you went from night and day.
Yes.
Why is there more money being poured over there than it is over here?
Yes.
But this is a community that doesn't vote.
Yes.
This is a community that doesn't pay attention to House bills and resolutions.
Yes.
They don't pay attention. They don't know anything on who the senators are. They don't know who the representatives are. None of that. And they don't have contact with them. Yeah. And that's why you guys are like a liaison between, if you got that information and you try to give it to them, but giving it and receiving it are two different things.
Yes, yes.
And that's why. I guess I'm gonna put in a job application 2 years because I'm retiring here in July. I'll have some time on my hands, so I may be looking you up for a part-time job to help canvas or something like that.
Please do. And not only canvas, it's important to get the right information out.
After that,
the right information out when we are canvassing.
Yes.
Because it really is. It's so important to us. Social justice. When we look at voter registration, and then we're intelligent enough to watch the news.
Absolutely.
And I'm more inclined to world news. But we watch the news, and we should try to watch the news that's somewhat like our organization, nonpartisan.
Yeah.
And you're getting both sides of everything. You know, you're getting your Republican side, your Democratic side, your independent side, all of it. And as being a representative of a nonpartisan organization, I would always say that it would be wise to go in there and to pick out the things that have value to you.
And that's what you're supposed to do.
You know,
and to get back to what you were just saying about Fox News, CNN, MSNBC.
Yeah.
And I was having this conversation with somebody, and I told him, I said, the news is not the news anymore. It's a narrative that they're trying to push.
Yes.
They don't care anything about the truth. I remember back in the day, when my grandmother, Eunice Young, shout out to her, she's passed,
Yes.
and my mom, you know, they've all passed. Walter Cronkite, Eric Severide.
Yes.
When they came on, you were quiet.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
You were quiet
Oh, yes.
because Walter Cronkite gave you the news. He
Yes.
didn't give you his opinion.
Yes.
He didn't give you if he thought this was right or wrong.
Yes.
He just gave you the news.
Yes.
And let you make up your mind. Eric Severide, same way.
Yes.
They just gave you the news. And World News does that to a degree.
Yes.
More so than Fox, Newsmax, and any of them other ones.
Yes. Yes.
But they are no longer interested in the truth anymore. It's about whatever narrative they can push. And if you don't have the ability to think for yourself,
Yes.
Miss Hattie, they're gonna lead you down a rabbit hole.
Oh, yes.
That
Oh, yes.
you're gonna be like Alice in Wonderland. We threw the looking glass.
Yes.
Black is white, white is black. Nothing makes sense anymore.
Yes. Yes. That's true.
What's wrong is right now.
Yes.
And what's right is wrong. And that's where you get led if you don't have the ability to think for yourself. And that is so important what you said about getting the right information out
Yes.
there. Because people don't understand, and even churches need to understand this, because some of them
Yes.
walk that thin line, and you about to, that 501(c)(3) when you start bashing a candidate, trying to tell people who to vote for, because I got two nonprofits, and I know the rules about being nonpartisan. You can't tell somebody, you know, and I tell somebody, I never tell anybody who to vote for. You should vote Democrat, you should vote Republican. I never do that.
Exactly.
I just say, know what you're voting for.
Exactly.
You know, don't be, because a lot of people, they'll get somebody that they say something with such assertiveness and so a surety and such conviction. You say, oh, that's got to be the truth.
Yes.
And it can be a lie.
Oh, yes, it can.
It winds up being a lie. Because if you don't have that ability to say, that's not true, or to question it, explain that. Because sometimes when somebody say something with all that conviction and stuff, you ask the next question, they didn't got an answer for it. That lets you know that that's not the total truth. Because when it comes to the truth, you can tell it all.
That's right. That's right.
When it comes to truth, you can tell it all. You don't leave nothing out.
That's right. That's right. And that's so true, Mr. Hutchins. Because I think about, like I say, I like to look at the world news.
I look at Al Jazeera's. But they're kind of getting into it, like, I guess maybe because it's an independent network. And I watch the Young Turks too, but because they're down the middle. If a Democrat's acting something, saying something stupid that doesn't make no sense, they'll jump all over. Perfectly the same way. So I watch them a little bit too. But Al Jazeera's up until I'm starting to notice a little bit that they're trying to compete with Newsmax and CNN and all this stuff. They're changing, and I hope they don't. I hope it's just a blip. And that they get back to what it is they can do. Because I just want the truth.
Yes.
And if the person I like is on the wrong side of the truth, I'm not going with that person.
Exactly.
I'm sorry.
Exactly.
And because one of the problems that we have is party politics is ruining this country. I mean, you look at, and for lack of a better word, there's a clown show going on in the Republican Party right now between Marjorie Taylor Greene and the rest of them.
Wow.
She'll walk out and give her spiel, and then there'll be a group of Democrats coming, this lady is crazy. You know, because they give back. You get, people like Ken Buck, and they're all going to say, This is not. We didn't come up here to get into a fight with the Democrats. We got up here. People sent us here to do a job.
That's right.
And it's not to just attack. It's just to get policies in place. It's to get laws passed so that we can enhance and better the lives of the people that sent us here. Not this stuff that's going on now. Those Republicans that came out and said that, I was right, spot on with them, because that's what it's supposed to be about. Like I tell anybody, if you go into politics and you're thinking that all Democrats are liars and all Republicans tell the truth, or vice versa, you're wrong.
Yes, you are. You are wrong.
You're wrong.
Yes, you are. You are most definitely wrong, because that is not so. And like Mr. Hutchins say, you're wrong because it's based on opinion.
Yes.
That's so true. And when we are speaking of politics, I mean, you really have to move the opinion out of the way.
You got to.
And you have to go for getting the true information.
The truth.
The true information, the true literature, the true narrative. You have to go back in that. And one thing I learned, if you're going to get true information, you have to be a person that follows history.
You got to. You got to.
Because your true information comes from your history.
And it's a reason that people say,
exactly,
if you don't study your history, you're doomed to repeat it.
Yes.
And people who don't want you to study history want to continue to repeat it. That's what you have to understand.
Yes.
And that's why I say the people with, that's against the CRT, critical race theory, that people so against that. Why children need to learn about racism? Because it existed.
It's history.
Because it's the reason why, it's how we got here.
Yes.
And and now you're trying to push the narrative like it was some workforce program to help disenfranchised people.
Yes.
Like it's some workforce development program. Oh, slavery was good for people. It taught them skills. It taught them all this. Well, why did you have to go get them then?
That's right.
Why didn't you teach the people who already hear that? Why was the slave trade such a big deal?
That's right.
If it was such a great thing, you could have taught it to the people who are already here.
Yes.
But you wanted free labor, and then you treated people like inhumane. And it's like I tell people, you want us to forget, you want us to forgive, but you don't want to apologize.
Yeah.
And it's another thing I always ask, and I ask, I ask my African American people, do we as a people have the depth of forgiveness to get past that?
Yes.
Do we?
Yes, that's true. I think, just being coming from the culture.
Yes.
And being a part of the culture. Some probably would say, maybe not, but being a part of the culture, by observation, we are some of the most forgiving people.
We are. We absolutely are.
We are some of the most forgiving people.
It's our nature.
It's our nature. And within our hearts, it's just like we say, we don't mind if you prosper.
I don't.
And we don't want you to mind if we prosper.
Therein lies the difference. That's where the difference comes in.
Exactly.
They don't mind you being poor, but they don't want you to prosper.
There you go.
It's people that make money under needing a permanent underclass for them to make money. They need the poor people.
Yes.
And as it says in the Bible, Christ says, "The poor you will have with you always."
Always. That's exactly what he said.
That's what he said. And so I used this when I was talking to some people at work, and I say the problem, what people don't understand about when democracy was pure democracy.
Yes.
People had to care about one another.
Yes, exactly.
People had to understand that I need for this person to do well, not so I can do well, so we can do well.
Yes.
That's what democracy is about, we can do well. And like I said, as a collective people. And I'm not just black people, I'm talking about human race.
Yes.
Human race.
Yes.
And what I'm saying is, I told them, I said, it's some people out there, if you walk up to them and say, 80, I need 80, and the number is 80, I need 80 to make me happy.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you ask them, well, if I gave you 65 so more people could be happy, would you be satisfied with that?
Mm-hmm.
No. I need my 80.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to have to get it the way they can get it.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the quote unquote democracy we live in. They don't want to do. They're not gonna. They don't care about somebody else. I got mine. I don't care if you ever get yours, as long as you don't take mine. And I don't. And if you getting yours, mean I got to give up some of mine. I don't care. I hope you don't never get yours. I don't want to lose it. But that is where that's the society we live in. And we're not willing to give to care about people. And a true democracy that works. But what we have, we don't live in a democracy anyway. It's a republic. Just stop it. Okay, Apple's orange. Stop that. No. Yeah, that's an excuse. No. Don't have a republic. Stop. We're talking about democracy.
Yes.
And at its core, democracy works. But what I'm saying is, when you got people who, like I said, use that analogy, that's what makes democracy such a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. It's such a discombobulated thing.
Yes, it is. It is discombobulated when you refer to it that way. But like you say, the two words that can solve all of that is true social justice.
True social, absolutely.
True social justice.
Yes.
Because true social justice comes from democracy. And it comes from just simply put, I love to see you prosper. Love to see me prosper as well. Yep. And if we were all like that, there really wouldn't be a problem.
It wouldn't be what
because a problem.
That perspective that people take, like I don't want you to prosper, I'm prospering, but I don't want you to prosper, or I got a problem with you to prosper. So many of the social injustices are rooted in that narrative.
Yes, it is. Yes,
in that narrative, in that perspective, people say that's the way to be. That's the way it should be. But and it's a shame. It really is.
It is. And my mind as we're discussing this, my mind keep going to this. And I'm going back historically now.
Yes, please, by all means.
My mind keep going back to this. Go back when the founding fathers. I mean, when the founding fathers, the 13 colonies,
yes, go ahead.
They were talking about democracy. That's what this country is supposed to be built on, democracy. It was built on democracy. We started out with 13 colonies. And then as the 13 colonies developed, and then the people of the 13 colonies began to look past, it's called vision.
There you go.
It's called vision.
Don't need eyes for a vision.
It's called vision. They began to look past the 13 colonies. And they looked past the 13 colonies, and then they start looking Midwest and West. And then when they start looking Midwest and West, you got your California, you got your Texas, you got your Arizona, Oklahoma, and all of that. Yeah. But what you have to realize that the founding originality then was just 13. Yep. So in order to acquire what we have now, somebody had to spread out.
Yep, and take that ideology with them.
But the question is, did you do it right?
Because if it starts out wrong, it's going to be.
Did you do it right? Yeah. And the reason why I say my mind going to this, I was looking at the news one day and I thought about it. Mm-hmm. And I was looking, you see all the Mexicans that are coming across the border. Yeah. And all the measures that they've taken to prevent it. And I just sat there one day and I thought, and I said, I remember studying in history how the war was actually fought by someone wanting that property, and it belonged to someone else.
It wasn't theirs.
It wasn't theirs in the first place. And they went down there and fought. Look, gathered a military, went down there and took people's property. Yeah. And the same property that they took, belonged to the Aztec Indians.
And see, that was the Aztecs and the Incas. People don't want to forget about that. The Aztecs and the Incas.
Yes.
People thought that was some foreign country.
No.
It wasn't.
No. You're right.
It wasn't.
It belonged to them anyway.
Them Indians, yes.
And see, now, in the Bible, we can't do anything without the Bible.
We cannot, because that's the truth.
In the Bible, there's an Exodus.
Yes. Oh, yes.
There's an Exodus.
Oh, yes.
And I just believe, by wise insight, that this is an Exodus.
Oh, come on now. Go ahead, Miss.
You know, I just believe my wise insight.
Okay, come on now. That's why I'm glad I got you on here. What's going on, Samuel? Yo, we got a slow connection, but thank you for watching. Thanks for coming back, man.
The Aztec and the
the Aztecs. It was what's called in the Aztecs, because they used to fight one another.
Yes. Two different tribes.
Yeah.
But that belonged to them.
Yeah.
And some of the territory was Native American.
Yep.
It belonged to them. But then the people of the Aztec and the Incas.
Yeah.
And the people of the organized colony,
yeah.
the 13 colonies, the colonizers,
yes.
the people of the organized colony, then they decided, well, I want more. And so when a person gets a vision, they tend to separate from the corporate setting and then go in on this individuality thing.
Yep.
And
because
so,
they don't want nobody getting in the way of what it is they're trying to do. Especially because, you know, somebody might not go along with what I'm thinking.
Somebody might not go along with what.
And I don't need them in my way.
Exactly, Mr. Hutchins. But right there, we want to stay right here. We're still on social justice. And you see how social justice is getting tossed around. It's just this right here.
Yeah.
And what's happening, I think that this is an exodus of the Aztecs and the Incas coming back. But because of the way it was taken in the first place, there's still a fight.
Yep.
But if we can just get social justice up in the middle of it,
we can solve all of that.
If we can just put social justice in its proper place, get it right there in the proper place, and say, well, this belongs to them anyway.
But we tend to lean more toward the law of the jungle.
Yes.
Mike is right.
Yes.
Because I'm not right because it's right. I'm right because I'm stronger than you.
Yeah.
I'm not right because I'm not doing this because I'm not right because it's the right thing to do. I'm right because I'm stronger than you.
Yes.
And I can take it from you. And you can't do nothing about it. So that makes it right.
Yes.
It's about as ridiculous as manifest destiny.
It is.
To me.
it is. And that's so true. I totally agree with you.
Destiny to me, yeah.
I totally agree with you. And it's so wrong. Because when you go back to the Bible, whenever God judged something, it's because social justice was not being met. It was neglected.
It was neglected.
It was neglected.
And
when
him being the ruler of it all, he ruled on it.
Yes.
He ruled on it and he moved on it.
Yes, right, Mr. Hutchins. And if Washington, D.C., the White House, all of our lawmakers in our state capitals, our governors and our senators and our congressmen and all of the presidents in the president cabinet, if we could get in our hearts and mind, and if we could just really go back to the core of it, the foundation of it, and say whenever God judged something that he was really displeased with, most of the time the outcome was social injustice. And
a lot of this stuff comes from, Ms. Mucker, when we as a people started to compromise our moralities.
Yes.
When we started saying, well, this would be good for me economically, but morally it's wrong. So instead of saying, and since it's morally it's going to be wrong, we can't do it.
Yes.
Man, we can do it this time. See what I'm saying? We'll compromise. The morality says it's wrong, but you know what? We still gonna do this anyway. But if we ever got back to a country, and our country was founded on quote unquote moralities.
Yes, it was.
It
Most
was.
definitely.
And then moralities were important then. You know, even when it comes to the point when the slaves come in, if morality it started swaying, then going back the other way, because no morally thinking right person would enslave another human race.
None.
Another race of people. None. So morally that was wrong. If morality was still as important as God had put it forth, a lot of this injustices as we speak, they would never happen. But we started calling ourselves progressing as a man and thinking that we got power, and if I say it's okay, then it's got to be okay.
Mm-hmm.
We stop thinking, well, does God say it's okay?
There
If
you
God
go.
says it's
There
okay,
you go.
then it's okay. But if God says it's wrong, then that's wrong.
Yes.
One thing about God, it ain't no third position.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
Right and wrong.
That's right.
That's
That's
it.
right. That's it.
But
That's
it's right,
it.
no, there's no third position.
No, it's
And,
not.
but a lot of people try to straddle the fence on him. But again, like he said, though, lukewarm, he don't want nothing to do with it.
No. He does not. He does not. And it is. It's right and wrong.
That's it.
It's
You on
right.
God's side or not?
Yeah.
Simple as that.
It's right and wrong. And I work with the voter empowerment organization.
Yeah.
But by the same token, embedded deep within my heart is that we must, just like you say, Mr. Hutchins, get back to the morals of God
Yes.
in our country when it comes to election, when it comes to making the right decisions, and when it comes to enforcing the right rules. That's why I so appreciate some of the officials that go bipartisan.
Yes, I do too.
In
I
order to
love
get
when
something
they
done.
go. I love a politician that crosses party lines.
Yes.
And does the right thing.
Yes.
And does not go party lines.
Yes.
Teresa says, preach, Reverend Hattie Muckle, preach. Thanks you for Teresa for being on. I need to get with you. I got some money I need to put in your hands. But thanks for being part of this podcast. You want to come on, let me know, and I'll bring you on camera. But Miss Muckle, she said preach. Go ahead and preach.
Okay. Okay.
But yeah, I love this conversation. I love your energy. So we got to do this again so we can have a longer time to do it. But like I said, this is your boy Sam Hutchins recording live from the Black Excellence Conference that was done today, put on by visionary Tammy Kinney. I would love for her to come in here. If someone would go get her, before I close this out, so I can close this out. But I love this city. I love this conversation, and we got to do it. Like I said, we got to have it on just with you. So, because I could talk to you for hours. Because one, I love your information is true.
Yes.
Two, you're so passionate about it.
Yes.
And three, we need it.
Yes.
We need it. So we definitely got to do this
God.
again. Miss Sims, Emma Sims, how y'all doing? Y'all sure coming in here late. I've been here all day. Where y'all been? But again, thank you guys so much for being part of this podcast. So, again, explain to them in your words why it is important for people to vote. No, you know what? We'll go down that road. Explain how important House bills and resolutions are locally, because I think that's what a lot of people don't understand, how stuff gets done. Because the House bills and resolutions are in those House bills and resolutions are the things that change and shape our communities. And we don't know about it. We don't have any idea about how it is that things get done here. Could you explain to them a little bit about that?
Yes. House bills locally are so important. That means that we need to pay attention.
Yes.
We need to pay attention to what they are doing in our county commissions meetings.
Thank you.
We need to pay attention to what they are doing in our city council meetings. We need to pay attention to what they are doing in our voter election meetings. Sometimes we just need to go and sit down in the voter election meeting and just observe.
Yes.
Sometimes we need to go sit in the Barrow County Commissioners and any other commissioner and just observe. Sometimes we need to go sit down in the city council and just observe. We need to pay very close attention, even if we have to go put it up on the internet. The bills that they are deciding on in the capital of Georgia.
Thank you.
We really need to pay attention to the bills that they are deciding on in the capital of Georgia. And we need to start paying attention to the middle state of those people who are making decisions in the state capital. And then we need to weigh it against, is this an objective middle person that we can really pay attention to? A person that will give the right objectives, a person that understands and know what they're talking about. We really need to pay attention to just the mental state of people.
And do they care about people?
Yes.
And not only constituents who can line their pockets, constituents who can do stuff for.
Yes.
Because there's a lot of grifting going on.
Yes.
In politics right now. And like I said, those House bills and resolutions, That's how you get community centers built in your neighborhood.
Yes,
That's how
yes,
you get libraries
yes,
brought in.
yes.
That's how you can stop a liquor store from being
Yes, yes.
built. That's how you can stop, pawn shops that sell guns and all that. That's how you can stop all
Yes,
that.
yes.
That's how you can get more police protection
Yes.
in. Case in point, like here in Wanda, I've heard 1,000 people, not 1,000, I heard a bunch of people say they got these cameras now
Yes.
in these areas that take your picture if you're speeding, and next thing you know, you get a letter in the mail.
Exactly.
You own speed camera.
Exactly.
How do you think that camera got there?
That's right.
Somebody got in the representative's ear, and that's how that happened.
Yes.
That's how that happened.
Yes, and with taxpayer money.
That is what with taxpayers.
Yeah, with taxpayers' money. And then Mr. Hutchins is so right. We need to pay attention to how the money is generated in our community
and how it's split up.
Yes.
Because people don't understand it. If you got say you got a Democratic president that gives federal funding,
Yes.
he may have given your state $80 million, and then it got broke down by the state. Your state broke it down to the counties. Okay, say your county wound up with $5 million appropriated for certain things.
Mm-hmm.
But it needed all over. But what do you think it's going to go? It's going to go to those people who are voting. The most is the people that are voting the most. You see what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Because that representative is going to look and he's going to say, well, look over there in Glenwood, they don't really vote. But these people over here on Fifth Avenue, they don't want to really vote. Yeah, let's re-improve the sidewalk and stuff over there. Let's beautify this over here. You know why? Because he's satisfied new people because they're voting.
Yes.
So if he don't do nothing for the people over here who ain't voting, he ain't lost nothing.
That's right. That's right.
He lost nothing.
That's right. He ain't lost nothing.
So he's going to continue to serve those people.
Yeah.
But we got to understand that's why it's so important to the power of the vote. And again, thank you so much for coming on, your energy. We definitely going to do this again soon, a couple of times, probably before the election. But coming to the stage now, as I like to say, is again, I'm broadcasting live from the Black Excellence Conference here in Wanda at the Wembley Center, third one put on by visionary Tammy Kennedy from the Rural Women in Action. Tammy, if you would, please come join me now because I need you to close this thing out. I know we got to hurry up. We got to Miss Malcolm. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Come on in here, lady. I ain't going to hold you long because I know you're tired. I know you got somewhere to be.
I am.
And I thank you for being who you are.
Whew.
Come on in here.
All right.
Hey, sister, how you doing? Thanks for watching. But again, you came at the end too. We're getting ready to close this thing up. Great day today. How you feeling?
I am truly exhausted. But I'm exhausted doing a good cause.
Absolutely.
With our community.
Thank you so much. Tammy, Miss Debbie came on, and you got to go back and look at that thing. We had like a 45-minute conversation about that fentanyl thing. I got to bring her back, but she gave so much information in depth about a lot of stuff that I didn't even know. I got educated today, and I was telling her that somebody needs to have her in their church every Sunday or on a Saturday giving out that information. Somebody needs to do that, do what you're doing, put her on the platform and so she can continue what it is that she's doing. And that's what I was telling her, that people need to really get behind what you're doing here because there's so much information that was given out here today, not just about fentanyl, not just about AHL. There's so much information, and it was free that will help and help and inspire and make this a better community. And that's why I say everybody should get behind. I think we got to work on getting it because this was great today, and it just keeps getting better and better. I remember the first one, and the one last year I thought was great, but this one topped all of those. And I think you're finding your niche. You're getting where you need to be, and I just want to say thank you for letting me be a part of the ride. The Hope for Xavier Foundation, It's a Route with Reggie and Sam. We salute you. We support you. And I'm going to give you the last word here.
I'm exhausted, America. But the thing is understanding your assignment. And what I mean by that is my assignment, it comes from God. Doing service work. And what Rural Women in Action, what we do, we talk about things that people don't want to talk about because it's uncomfortable for some churches and people in the community. And by me being transparent about who I am,
The strength of that.
I was,
the strength of that. Transparency, strength. So much strength and transparency.
So today was a really good day, America, and I thank Sam and his podcast. I thank the board of Rural Women in Action. I thank the community. I'm just so grateful today. I want to thank the Department of Public Health. First and foremost, I want to thank AIDS Healthcare Foundation, supporting the work in rural areas. I know a lot of other organizations are doing the same thing, but I want to salute AHF. We talked about the 340B program.
Yes.
We talked about fentanyl that is taking our rural communities and other communities.
Holding them hostage.
Oh my gosh.
It's like a Beirut situation. They live in hostages now.
Yes,
like Beirut.
So what we're trying to do is build a better community, Sam. And
We're going to build one. We're going to build one.
We're going to
We're
build
going to
one.
build one.
And I think what we need is, this is not a platform where we want to shine or
No,
anything
it's not
like
about
this.
that.
It's not about that.
It's just like you said, serving. And that's what, and I think it's what a lot of people misunderstand it is. When that's how you're going to get your reward in heaven, by how you serve people here on earth. Serving. Jesus served. He wasn't trying to get served. He served.
He served.
And like I said, and it's about your spirit. It's about your soul. And I think another thing people need to understand is, ain't no human beings going to heaven. So stop trying to imply this and try to compare the heavenly experience with your earthly experience. Ain't no human beings going to heaven. Just not going to happen. People need to understand that. It's about your soul. What's inside that body. Because like I said, most of us, we live our lives like we're a body that's with a soul, but actually we're a soul with a body. Those are two different perspectives. And Tammy, thank you so much for allowing me to be a part of what it is. Like I said,
yes, sir.
you
yes,
inspire
sir.
so many people, including myself. And like I said, because you know my whole story. I know your whole story. And where you are inspires me. Because, you know, it's not about where you're at, it's where you're going.
It's where you're going.
It's not where you're from, it's where you're going. But
And
yeah, thank you so much.
And I do want to announce that Rural Women in Action is the first community-based organization that will be doing HIV testing in Darrell County.
Yes.
And as a rural organization, we are now in the building in the Wimberley Center for Development. We are partners. We are in the building. And we will be providing services that are necessary for the people in our community. And I want to end with this note right here. Learn how to be good to yourself, and therefore you can be good to other people. Be humble at all times. Being humble is an experience that people need to experience
and to appreciate.
And appreciate. So I'm out. I'm exhausted. It was a wonderful, beautiful day today.
Yes, it was.
This is our third annual Black Excellence Conference, and it was amazing, America.
It was. Thank you so much.
All right.
And that's going to do it from us from now. And like we always say at the end, Reggie, I didn't get to see you come on, brother. I guess you forgot. But anyway, shouts out to you. Thank you so much, Tammy. And like we say at the end, it's a wrap.